Hello, my name is Quinn Bonin. I am 19 years old, and my biggest fear is death.
I've lost a lot of people.
I'm Leilani. I'm 21 years old.
Matthew Bonin, 51.
My name is Star Harris, and I am 44.
Deborah White, my age is 72.
I'm Rick Boardman. I'm 74 right now.
I lost my maternal grandmother.
That would be my Grandma Krupieski, or Grandma Kay as we called her, and I have a lot of fond memories of her. She passed away in 2012, and I believe she was 90 years old.
I think now about 5 or 6 years ago, she passed from an unexpected brain aneurysm.
Toward the end of her life, she had a number of strokes, and so she had been up to maybe 6 years before her death a fairly sharp person and was still kind of who she always was, but after the strokes, things kind of went downhill. So it was like a gradual loss of her, so it wasn't as sudden. And when she did pass away, there was certainly sadness, but there was also a feeling of relief.
I lost quite a few people. I'm like trying to figure out which one I should tell you about, but I lost my dad.
My mother and my father, but I talk mostly about my dad.
And he died from a stroke.
Well, he probably technically died of pneumonia, but he was an alcoholic. And after my mother had passed away, he had periods of kind of being up and down and up and down. And I think he was in a very depressed state and wasn't taking care of himself. And there wasn't anyone around to kind of help him. I wasn't living in the area. So I think he probably got very sick and didn't take care of himself and developed pneumonia.
Kathy was in a car fire inside the cab of a truck and couldn't get out. She couldn't see. She wasn't familiar with the truck, and she couldn't open the door. It was locked and breathed way too much smoke. This led to a lung disease, interstitial pneumonia, that eventually led to this and that, and she wasn't able to survive. She was ill for maybe 5 months, but I always thought she'd make it through. It was a shock. In fact, I was here teaching class in 122, and Dina came in and told me, your sister died. Oh, it was tough. And so I got in the car and raced to the hospital.
She was my favorite person.
She was one of the women I saw in my life that was like, I guess what I would say, a strong woman.
We didn't have too much of a relationship, but I had a lot of regret about that after he died.
I love my dad very much, as far back as I can remember. He was a very fun-loving, easygoing guy.
And she was the only one left. Because my parents died, it wasn't quite as tragic. After we lost them, she was the only one who shared those memories with me. There was nobody else who I could go, remember when this happened, or remember when we were here, and that funny story. And now I don't have that anymore.
I think when you're young, you don't really think that much about it, because when you're 20 or 30 or 40, you still think, oh, I've still got 30 years more to live, 40 years more to live. So I think that you don't really think too much about death. As you get older, obviously it could happen at any point.
I know people live and they die, and it'll happen. And I'm not as terrified, maybe because the fact that I can't die young anymore,
What can we learn from death?
I would say to enjoy life while you have it.
You don't know how much time you have, and don't wait.
Just to appreciate being alive. Even if it's something miserable, like every day is a new chance to do something else, to change, to be better, to be worse, to be whatever. It's just, you get a chance.
I think if you can appreciate what life is and what you have, then it enhances the life that you're living. Then you can love the people that you love deeper, or you can experience the world and everything it has to offer much better than and you know at some point that's not going to be there, probably, the world as it is now. So yes, I think that it may help you live a better life.
I think there is like pros and cons between people who think about death too much and people who think about it too little. I feel like just using it as a reminder that life is short, that you should live it to the full extent that you can.
We're built in with this desire to live, and yet we can't.
I think living forever would actually be torture.
Living forever in the state that we're in, I mean, as a human being, no.
I would hate to live forever. Like that, I feel like would be torture.
I think knowing that I'm gonna die at some point is better for me because it shapes my decisions, you know, whereas I feel like if I didn't know I was gonna die, I probably wouldn't make the best decisions.
I don't think that the human mind is supposed to exist beyond a certain point.
I'll do this in the perspective of a semester. If I'm given years to do the same amount of work that I have in a semester, I would never get it done. I would not care to get it done.
As a paleontologist and as somebody who, when I was younger, sort of sat there and looked up at the stars and everything else, nobody knows what this is all about.
Now that I'm 72, I've lived 10 years longer than he has. And I can see what the experiences and the memories that I have from those past 10 years that he never got the chance to experience.
Having my grandma pass so young, there has been like tons of times where I've been like, you know what, I really wish my grandma was here. But I think just like making, as cliche as it is, making the most of the time you have with the people that you love, just it means not only a lot to the person, like to you, but it means a lot to the other person too, because they might be thinking the same thing. And you never know when it's gonna happen, so you might as well do whatever the hell you wanted to do that you were keeping yourself from doing. And she taught me that. So.
It shapes our decisions and it just makes us appreciate life more.
One of the things that gives me some comfort is that what I'm going through, facing death, is no different than any other human that was ever going back to caveman days. We all have gone through it. We all have to face it.
To me, that's where you get into dangerous ground in terms of your own ego and stuff. It's like nobody really knows why we're here, where this is going. You look back across all of that deep time, there are all of these organisms that have come and gone, and the earth was different planets essentially at all these different points in time, and we're just on this little slice of time, and it's an overwhelming thing to look at. But to me, when you realize that, you go, well, this is the time I have, though. This is the world I live in. These are the people that are with me. This is why I should try to do the best that I can, and live my life knowing that, yeah, one day I won't be here anymore, but I'm going to enjoy it the most I can and love people the best I can, because yeah, that's what you got.